Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 with Shima and Emile Talks. Uh, Thank you so much, Shima, for showing up another day. Thank you, audience, for showing up another day, investing your time and energy to listen to these two beautiful people talking here and conversating and delivering a powerful message at every single one of these talks. So today we're gonna be talking a bit more about some projects that Shima has been developing for now more than a year, and she started to create a book, to write a book, and in one of her episodes, in one of her chapters, she shares about self love. And so I reached out to her because this chapter really was super insightful for me to learn about myself, what is self love, what it isn't, and how can I learn to love myself even more. So I thought it was crucial that we would talk about it and be even able to identify what it is for all of you that are there. And as you know, guys, Shima is an amazing entrepreneur, CEO of Infinity Coach Love, and she has amazing value to give. So thank you, Shima, for showing up today.
Hello, Emile. Thank you so much for another session. Thank you for your time, and I'm here honored to greet your audience that are listening and sharing their precious time with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you guys know it's Emile Claesson here. First question for you, Shima, and I think this is a great way to start is what is self-love and what isn't self-love? Can you hit on these points?
Sure, very good question, actually. Self love is a concept that unfortunately is widely misunderstood. People often mistake self love for egoism. And
Right.
egoism is based on only self interest, right? When one only focuses on the self and doesn't take the other's interest into consideration. That is the egoism. But what is self love? Self love is absolutely the opposite. Means to love oneself unconditionally and accept the self exactly as he or she is. So what does it mean? That I do not come to this world with the manual what is right and what is wrong. We are going through a lot of experience to learn from it, right? So the mindset that we have, the belief system that we have is conditioned by our culture, upbringing, our parents, and schooling system, the color of our skin, and many different things. So that belief system that we hold on to it for the entire life create our destiny. And we need to understand that there is, at some point in our life, we need to question everything that we have learned, and we have to start to reinvent ourselves, who we truly are, to come to the self um, awareness. Basically, the main understanding of self love is to understand who am I, right? This question is
Right.
very important, and often we don't ask ourselves these questions.
Right.
And coming to the self awareness, and from that, starting to accept ourselves exactly the way as we are, we learn to criticize ourselves. And this self critics, it's killing us constantly. And if you observe your thought, you realize that the 80% of them are unfortunately negative. And this is scientific fact. Every human being have 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. Over 80% of them are negative because of the way we have been
Wow.
programmed to. And these negative thoughts are creating damage on our health, because that's what a thought is basically having a relationship with our health constant continuously, that we explained on other sessions. And there is a lot of scientific studies about it, that the power of the thought and the emotion on the health and the well-being.
Right.
So if we
That's
really want to solve our problems, any type of problem, after so many years working with human beings, I come to this conclusion that over 90% of the problem of the humanity is based on lack of self-love. Whether they come to me for relationship advice, or they come to me for health issues, or for wealth, and business issues, which are the three main pillars of the human life: relationship, health, and wealth, right?
Exactly.
In all of them comes down to lack of self-love. If I understand who I am, first of all, I will have a different perspective about all this area of my life. And if I understand to accept myself, to let go of the self-critic, and to forgive myself, which is very difficult and very important, and forgive others, then I'm coming to a different place, very empowered place. Then I can manage my life in a complete different way.
That's that's amazing. That's amazing. And it is so true. Actually, I want to hit on that later on. And so thank you so much for sharing that. And so what would you say in the contrary of what isn't self-love? Uh how can we, separate acts of self-love with acts of that are not self-love that might, trick our mind that or make, our emotions triggered, but they aren't.
Okay, so very good question. What is not self-love, as we mentioned first, is this egoism is not self-love because that comes from self-interest, no? But if I learn to
Exactly.
control my mind, I understand who am I? This is a very, very big and meaningful question that we must ask ourselves. Who am I? Am I this physical being having a spiritual experience, or am I a spiritual being having physical experience, as
Hmm.
Dr. Wayne Dyer said? If I understand that I am an energetic spiritual being having a human experience, then all my perspective about life and everything that I do and every decision that I take will completely shift to another level.
Right.
So let me give you an example of basically a sentence from John Lennon. It's very, very interesting. He says there are two basic motivating force, fear and love. When we are
Hmm.
afraid, we pull back from life. When we are in love, we open to all that life has to offer to us with passion, excitement, and acceptance. We need to learn to love ourselves first in all our glory and our imperfections. If we cannot love ourselves, we can't open fully to our ability to love others or our potential to create. So it's very important. It's
Wow.
amazing that if we can't fully love ourselves, how can we even tell someone that I love you if I never learned how to love myself? This is so critical.
So true.
And this is toward every one of us. Like, we are in a society that feminine energy has been suppressed for thousands of years. Especially with women, you see this lack of self-love big time when they go through the experience of motherhood, which is the most important experience that a woman can do, and most important thing that one can do is creating a new human being, manifesting the spiritual realm into the physical realm. That is so important. They go through a complete shift and transformation, and after that, of course, you are protective for that child, and everything becomes the child becomes first. And as you're running and managing a family come first. So the child come first, family come first. If you're working, your works come first, and then all of a sudden you find yourself at the end of the list. You
Right.
find that you have no time to do anything for yourself. You are completely depressed. Most of the women have this experience of the postpartum depression, midlife crisis, all because of that, the lack of self-love. I did not spend enough time for myself. And I don't say
Mm.
the other parts and creating a new human being and looking after that and looking after family and creating, looking after the economy is not important. They are all important, but first, that person come first. If you don't know how to look after yourself, you can't look after others. And this is true for men as well. Most of the men in our society, exactly because of the feminine suppression, we have such an imbalance in masculine and feminine energy. They have been also suppressed, and they are suffering something that we call John Wayne syndrome. You know the John Wayne, the movie of John Wayne?
Yes, I do know Joanne. Yeah,
This,
but I don't know what that syndrome is about. I'm curious.
so this man that is strong, alone, traveling from cities to cities, strongly, he is deeply wounded in his heart, but he never shows and he never expresses. So this inner child, what we talk about, this part of the psyche that is it's your inner being, has been wounded, and you never pay attention to that. Go from one experience in life to another experience. So men come to the society, they are forced into the, I don't know, whether studying or working hard and then looking after the family, and have a lot of expectations on them, but they cannot cry, they cannot share their emotions, because they, like, since they are 5 years old, we tell them, oh, you are crying, a man never cries, right? So
Mm.
from there, we are really creating this deep wound that this is a John Wayne syndrome, that they are not allowed to share their emotions. They're not allowed to be themselves. So we are living in a society that have this much lack of balance in the feminine energy, in masculine energy, and a huge wound on our inner child, all of us. Now,
Mm.
when we tap into the self-love, we go deep to our childhood. We start to heal our childhood traumas, to connect with ourselves, to heal the people who created or caused us any trauma or any conflict, anything that we can't forgive. Start to go there and to create that forgiveness. Connect deeply to the inner child. Pamper the inner child. Look after the inner child. And from that healing, we are empowered, a complete human, different human being, that we are vibrating unconditional love. Because once I created that connection with myself, and I have been able to forgive others, and most importantly, forgive myself, and I have been able to look after my inner child, then I'm vibrating in a complete different level and radiating such a beautiful energy that is impossible to 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 harm others, to damage others.
Wow, that's so true. That's so true. And I love what you said about taking complete, like pampering the inner child and giving that self love. And it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful and it's so real. And I, all to the audience listening, I recommend you trying. So, my follow up question to you, Shima, is how can people take this advice into action so they can start applying, what we're talking about here today into their daily lives, so that they can, start empowering their lives and start vibrating to that level of, frequency that you've been able to experience?
Thank you, Emil. Very good question. So this is the first thing is to create the self-awareness, to ask yourself, who am I, first of all, and asking what is the effect of my thoughts and my emotions on my life and my well-being. So a very quick way of explaining it and describing it is, when we have negative thought, the thoughts are based on fear. Every emotions basically come down to two emotions, whether they are empowering or disempowering. Empowering comes down to love, and disempowering comes down to fear. Basically, love and fear are two sides of the same coin. Okay, so every emotion that you have, like, ask yourself first of all, how do I feel
Okay.
about the specific situation or whatever it is? Do you feel empowered or disempowered? Do you feel anxious, stressed out? I don't know. Do you feel worried, or do you feel happy, blissful, joyful? The feeling is indicator to tell you where are you in your life. It's like a compass. So it's very important. The first question asking you, where are you in your life? Asking yourself, how do I feel? Now, look at your feeling and try to track the thought that was the source of this feeling. Because guess what? Every feeling, every emotion has been followed by a thought. So when you think about something, that thought activates certain part of your brain that releases certain enzymes in your body, and that enzyme is something that we are translating as happiness or sadness or fear or stress or anxiety or other things. Okay. So when you have this feeling, ask yourself, how do I feel and what was the thought? When you see the thought behind it, ask yourself, who created that thought? Okay. Am I in power? Am I in a on a responsible scenario toward my thought, or I'm on a victim chair? And if you see and you find yourself on a victim chair, immediately change your chair and go to the responsible. Take responsibility for your thought. Once you become responsible, you change that thought to a positive thought, which will be followed by positive emotion. When you change the positive emotion, you are producing on demand healing enzymes in your body. You're basically sending this message to your brain to release more serotonin into the body, for instance, instead of the cortisol that you had previously, which is the stress hormone, and the serotonin is the happiness hormone. So when you release that, you start being happy and you start to go through toward the healing experience. So I give you just a very, very simple example on a daily life, like today in the Corona time.
Yeah.
Okay. When you watch or hear a news about the Corona or about the lockdown or everything, whether you believe this is a killer virus that is there out there to kill you and is killing many people around the world, or you believe this is a pandemic and it's created there just for business and money, I don't know, interest, whatever is your belief, because this is these two type of the bold beliefs that exist right now in the society. Both
Hmm.
of them, my friend, are based on fear. Okay, because both
Right.
of them get your power away. How is your emotion about them when you think about, oh my god, a government, it's manipulating you with the disease that is not even real, and they put you in lockdown and they get your power away and they kill your business? How do you feel?
Fear.
Disempowered, fear, insecurity, stressed. And how do you feel if you think that there is a virus that is killing so many people daily and you cannot even have human contact with nobody?
Mm.
How do you feel?
It's disempowering. It's full of fear.
Absolutely. This is two main belief system, the two main view that is there right now in the current situation. Both of them are
Exactly.
disempowering. Both of them are creating more fear and more stress hormones in your body. On a long run, when you have a lot of cortisol and adrenaline in your body, you are basically suppressing your immune system. So, what should I do? Okay, so I come to the thought that created that feeling, whatever of these two scenario was that thought. I feel responsible for choosing the right thought that is empowering. Okay, and this is
Right.
a very big question, is a global question, is something that it's not under your control. So you may not have control over what goes out there, but my friend, you always have control over what goes inside your heart. So you can change that thought to something that can be empowering, like acceptance. First of all, the new conditions is a condition that is helping our growth. And everything
Mm.
that is happening, it's serving our growth and well-being. I have come to this planet with the mission to be at this particular time on this reality. I have been equipped for it and I have been trained for it. So, from a soul perspective, you can find an affirmation that you can change that limiting thought to a positive one. And right at this moment, you are sending the message to your brain to release happiness hormone or healing enzymes into your body. And
Wow.
immediately after that, you feel different.
That's super powerful, guys. And just to go through it again, guys, make sure to write these questions down because this is life changing. This is something that I've had the privilege to read through some of Shima's thoughts and creation, which is her book. I had the privilege to learn this and to read it and write it down. So I do recommend you guys. We said first question, who am I? Right? Who am I? Right? Detecting uh, that feeling. Right? How do I feel? How is it a feeling of love? Is it a feeling of fear? And where does this thought come from? What was the thought that provoked this emotion? Right? We said that. And taking full responsibility of it, accepting it, and getting rid of that victim mindset and getting responsible of that thought, being able to create an affirmation from a soul perspective. I think this is super powerful, and thank you so much, Shima, for sharing that. I think
My pleasure.
it
And it is
might,
not
yeah.
only about soul perspective. Even this is what the example that I gave, I think it's going to help many people because right now people are living in a state of fear. But it
Mm,
can be in every daily situation. For instance, you have been
okay.
betrayed. You have been cheated by your boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband or friends or business partner. Okay, and then you are feeling broken, feeling heartbroken, feeling completely, whether you are feeling that you want to have a revenge, holding a lot of grudge and resentment, or you're feeling completely depressed and blaming yourself for what you have done and what you haven't done in that
Mm,
relationship. Okay, so we are doing the same technique. Okay, how do I feel? Empowered or disempowered? But basically, disempowered. Okay, what is the thought before that? The thought is that he cheated on me,
mhm,
or she betrayed me, or whatever.
mhm,
Okay, that comes as that. Am I a victim in that scenario or am I responsible in that scenario? Well, if I am pointing someone else that did something to me, I'm definitely a victim. And I know that the technique is to change that chair and go on a responsible chair. Okay, perfect. How I can become responsible? By understanding that I am at power and I am in power at any given moment in my life. No matter of whatever happened to me until now, from today on, I can create a completely different future. So, what am I going to do to change that? First of all, understanding that holding resentment is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to get sick.
mm,
This is very important to understand. If you hold resentment because of those negative thoughts are creating the constantly the adrenaline and stress hormones in your body. Why? Because your mind goes on the fight or flight that we explained in the previous session. When you are on
mm,
the fight or flight, because the brain is designed on your survival, not on your happiness, releases the hormones to survive and rescue you from a dangerous situation, but that is only in your head. Right? Is not
right.
even real. In Spanish, the thought is pensamiento. Pensamiento means to think lie. It's
Mm,
not even a reality.
mm,
It's just a lie. It's something that is in your head, is a version that is in your head, that is a thought on that moment. Because in the present moment, this whatever happened is in the past. In this present moment, that is not the reality anymore. So how am I going to change that? Thinking about this resentment and the grudge that I'm holding inside me is harming my body, creating a lot of disease right now in my body, and this is lack of self-love. So I definitely need to go through the forgiveness. And forgiveness is basically one of the most important tasks you learn to do in your life. And if you don't do that, it's like you are drinking this poison constantly, expecting someone else to get ill. And it's amazing if you learned that over 80% of the disease come from not being able to forgive. Louise Hay, she has an extraordinary book called Heal, You Can Heal Your Life. If you haven't read it, I definitely recommend you to go and get that book, and you will see the emotional reason behind the physical disease. And she explained her own journey on healing her own cancer in a
Wow.
terminal state by forgiveness. And this is my experience with my Spanish business partner back in 2013. You can go to my website and read about it if you want to know more. And this comes also into the book, that how I could help him to heal his cancer in a terminal stage when they sent him home to die, just by going through the forgiveness as one of the methods that we applied. So importance, this again coming to the self-love, comes to the part of the self-awareness. When you understand who you are, that your thoughts are creating your reality, your emotions are affecting your physical health and well-being, then you start to change them. So you need to let go of that resentment. You need to forgive. Go through the forgiveness, which is a very hard process. I understand, but we have no way around it. Go through the forgiveness, forgive that person, and forgive yourself, most important, because most of the time we have a lot of criticize about ourselves, and understanding that, okay, it's okay to make mistakes. It's absolutely okay. If we don't make mistakes, we don't learn. And every experience we had until now brought us to the place we are today. So we have to bless them, all our experiences. Go through the forgiveness, forgive them, and forgive yourself. And you will see how much your life will be shifted in a completely different realm.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I 100% agree. I think when I was reading this in your book and I was able to, you would truly take it in and embrace it and, learn from your teachings of how to forgive myself. I was able to let go of so much things that I carried from the past and acknowledging that I'm not the past. And what I was able to do is just, I remember this day was I was biking and I had this conversation with my ex girlfriend and for 3 years we had a relationship, and then the last year we were trying to get back together, but the energy, the vision wasn't there, and so I just needed to talk to her and let her know that everything that I had done and that she had done is okay, and we learned from it and we forgave each other and we accepted that, and we were able to see each other as friends. And I remember this
Beautiful.
moment, it was so powerful
It is so
that,
powerful. Amazing.
yeah, it just released this, wow, it was like, okay, wow, I am bigger than this, so
Beautiful.
definitely, I love that, Shima. So would you want to add anything else before we conclude this amazing chapter? We've been talking about what is self-worth, what it isn't, how to apply it, where to reach out to your inner child, and most of all, be able to forgive people, forgive yourself. Is there anything else that you would want to add, Shima?
So this has been basically very short, just introduction. Of course, application of it's much more deeper and requires a lot of practice. But if you would like to start forgiveness, and the forgiveness, you need to learn what it is forgiveness and what is not forgiveness. So when you forgive someone, that doesn't mean that you need to hang out with that person. If somebody harm you, somebody break you, somebody steal from you, they do not need to be in your circle friend of friendship. You forgive them because you deserve peace. So this is not forgiveness to harm yourself again. Okay, this is very important to understand. And also it's important, of course, if there are relationships that you can manage it to become friends, that is perfect. But if we are talking about forgiveness, that for instance somebody did a really bad thing to you, that now you forget it throughout the time, and now you go through the forgiveness process, which is also a very deep process, sending them love, light, and blessing. You do not need to hang out with the same people again, because they are in a definitely different, vibrating in a different reality. Okay.
Right.
So that is important to understand. If you want to practice forgiveness, you can go on my YouTube channel. Just go to the YouTube and type Infinite Love Coaching Academy. Then you can see some of the meditations I offer there for forgiveness. Basically, the process is to imagine a beautiful light is coming to your heart and opening your heart center, and visualize this beautiful loving energy coming out of your heart and going toward that person that you want to forgive, and sending this loving energy and having them hold in the middle of your energy. So because we are all interconnected, because there is no difference and a space between you and I, between none of us on this planet and on all the planets in the universe, we are all interconnected. When you are sending this loving energy to that person, you are breaking the barriers you created in your heart and the blockages you created in your heart to receive love. And you are releasing a big emotional pain from your heart. So you feel much more liberated and completely empowered to start again. So it's very important sending this. And so you can use those meditations to go through to the forgiveness. Now, for the self-love, one of the things that we mentioned, and basically that Emile also put them together on going through the self-awareness, asking who am I, what is the power of my thought and my emotions or my well-being, changing that thought. One of the main exercises we do and we use, which is funded by Louise Hay, it's mirror work, working with the mirror, because once you sit in front of the mirror and looking deeply into your eyes, you will encounter that inner child, that beautiful soul that is pure and is inside you. So this is a very deep process. Unfortunately, we are run out of time right now. I cannot go through it, but we will have another session explaining the mirror work. But what I would recommend you, that's something that you can do right now, right away, to shift your life in a completely, basically, different way. It's to get this book. The name is 21 Day Exercises with Mirror from Louise Hay, and start to do every day one of those exercises. Every single person that I worked with, that they apply this book after 3 or 4 days or weeks, they come to me and they said, I do not recognize the person who entered this office a couple of days ago. You will transform your life and you will become empowered. So it's a very good guidance. You can just do it yourself and motivate yourself to do that. Or if you need some help, you can always reach out to us or anybody who you can trust, and they can help you to stay committed and do the exercises of the book.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Shima, for your advice, your words. It's truly inspiring to, and it's a privilege to be able to hop on these talks with you. And every time I listen to you, I learn something new. So it's truly empowering. Um, I truly want to tell the audience that go check out Infinity Love Coaching Academy on YouTube. This is where these talks will be on, and leave a comment, leave a like, something that you guys would want to learn, take away from these talks. Really, Shima is like a Wikipedia, so like she has so much knowledge and so much love to share. So do I, and I'm just here to learn with you guys as well, and as well listen to beautiful Shima. So
Thank you so much, Emil.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time and for your energy. And you are yourself an inspiring for the human being. And thank you so much for your time. And I'm always a student on this life. Thank you.
Thank you, Shima. Thank you.
God bless you all.
God bless you all. Have a great day.
Bye.